Hello everybody and welcome back to biology. We are getting started on lesson number 6, which is cell energy transport and use. So, I'm working on it, I promise. Anyway, we are learning today about cell energy transport and use, and of course, like when we start any lesson, we have very important keywords. So please make sure you have pencil and paper ready to jot those down. Now, our very first keyword is going to be active transport. Active transport is a process in which energy is used to transport materials across the cell membrane. Like I have said before, passive transport is the transportation of molecules across the cell membrane, which is like the cell doorway, which controls what goes in and out of the cell. And what it does is that sometimes it uses energy and sometimes it does not use energy. When it does not use energy, it is passive transport. When it does use energy, it is active transport, okay? That is what we're learning about today. Next up, we have cell respiration. Cell respiration is a process in which glucose is broken down in the presence of oxygen to supply a cell with energy. Very well. If you did not know this, you should have, because I've mentioned it before. Glucose is a sugar. Sugar is broken down in the presence of oxygen. So some cells have oxygen. And in the presence of this, the glucose sugar is broken down and it is converted into energy for the cell. So how did the cell get energy to do everything in the first place? Through sugar or glucose. And last but certainly not least is fermentation. Fermentation is a process in which glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen to supply the cell with energy. Now, we learned that glucose can be broken down with oxygen and it can be broken down without oxygen. We're going to be learning the difference of both, but they both are required so the cell can get energy to be able to do these things, which is like transport and the use of it. Now let's go into the differences between fermentation and cell respiration. Going into it, we know what cell fermentation is, which is the process of a cell creating energy by breaking down the glucose in the presence of oxygen, and cell fermentation, which is creating energy by breaking down the glucose without oxygen. Very well. Listen up very closely. In the next clip, I'm going to insert a equation. Funny enough, there is a math problem for creating, for the process of cell respiration. Let me tell you a little bit about it first. So, during cellular respiration, oxygen combines with glucose. Through a series of steps, the glucose is broken down, water and carbon dioxide are released as waste products. The energy that is released forms a high energy molecule called an ATP. Keep that in mind, ATP. The cell can directly use the energy in the ATP. What is an ATP? ATP is energy. It is what is used to identify energy in this case. Like I said, the formula that I will be inserting in the very next clip is going to be referred to as ATP, and you will see it explained as well on the formula. When fermentation occurs, it's not because that is the cell's first choice. Of course not. And I'll show you why. But it's not the first choice because oxygen is not available and the cell still needs energy to function. it will break down the glucose for it to be able to have energy. But it will not get the same kind of energy as it would if it were with cellular respiration instead of fermentation. Next up, I'm going to insert a diagram where it shows the differences between cell respiration and fermentation and how it goes through the process, and also the amount of energy each one produces, which is labeled as ATP. Remember, it's just the amount of energy that the cell produces. Very well, now that you have all that in your notes, including the formula and the diagram, please go ahead, take a picture of it, send it to me, and you will get credit for your assignment today. If you have any questions on today's topic, please reach out to me. I'm here to help you. If you have any questions, I'll clarify anything that you want me to. Just let me know. I am here to help. I hope you all have a very wonderful day, and I hope to be hearing back from everyone very, very soon. And stay safe.